What up all my tooth doctors and doctresses, welcome to another video at the Tooth Factory. Today we're going to discuss how we can afford the NDEB process. We all know that the exams, the university route towards DDS from BDS is extremely expensive, but let's find out how much and how we can actually afford it so we are not financially crunched and tensed. Without much ado, let's dive in. With Factories, How to Afford NDEB Process 2022. We're going to be taking the support of CIBC Bank's financial support for this video, and the content is put together by Dr. Kanan Shah, and I, Dr. Rishi Shah, will be presenting it to you. Before we begin, we do have a disclaimer to project, and this video is for guidance purpose only. The Tooth Factory is not receiving any sponsorship or profit from advertising the CIBC Bank's funding offers for international dental graduates to afford the process of NDEB through the funds available to borrow. The Tooth Factory intends only to share the available resources for our fellow dentists and help them get through the NDEB process financially. We understand that some viewers may not need such financial assistance, and therefore we do not intend to hurt the sentiment of those viewers. So thank you guys for this, and let's move on. Before we begin, we just need to remember and recap the NDEB flowchart, right? We register for the equivalency process, AFK exam, that leads to exam route to licensure using ACJ, the theory clinical, and the NDEC, the practical clinical. Or after AFK, with a high score, we can get into the university route towards our degree using the advanced DDS programs. And at the end, certification process arrives with written and ASCII. We went through the details of the NDEB process in a video. The card is above mentioned. And NDEB certified dentist you are right after finishing up with this entire process, right? Well, how much does it really cost to go through this journey? Let's find out. Here are the summaries of expenses during NDEB process. The types of expenses of NDEB journey. First of all, the examination and the coaching. The AFK we know is $800, right? ACJ is $1,350. NDEC is $9,000, and these are just a first attempt. So keep that in mind because we will come back to this point. Then the written exam and ASCII are $1,000. Living costs, generally in Canada, I put at about $1,500 monthly. This includes your rent, your food, and the most essential, transport, right? These three necessities are fulfilled. The process can take up to 3 years, so $55,000. That's 36 months. And the coaching total is about $20,000. By that I mean the coaching for all these exams. We got the AFK, the ACJ, and the NDEC classes along with the written and ASCII classes. Or, if we were to go through university route, we first need to go through AFK anyways, which is $800. The university entrance exam prep courses are around $1,000. And then the tuition of DDS itself is ranging from $250,000 to $300,000 Canadian dollars. This is for a 2 to 3 year program, the advanced DDS program. And then written ASCII, because everybody needs to take that, is $1,000, and living expense remains the same. What does that mean? Well, the range of costs, if you were to choose the exam route, can range from $80,000 to $85,000, and if you were to choose DDS, could take up to $350,000. Basically, from this video, we're going to look for ways to afford that amount. But don't worry, CIBC at rescue. Well, when we were researching, we found that CIBC provides what they call as internationally trained dentist programs. It is an industry lending financial support and advice as you become accredited in Canada. It is affiliated with WINDMILL, a micro-lending company, for the first exam only, after which CIBC takes over for the second and the third exam. Let's take a look at it. How do we get financing for the AFK stage? First of all, let's register for NDEB, then register for AFK. Then we must run through the eligibility quiz with WINDMILL. It's just like a form that lets us know whether we're eligible or not. And then registration with WINDMILL microlending itself. That's step 1, right? Register with NDEB, apply to WINDMILL. In that process, we can receive up to $25,000. The interest at WINDMILL is 3.95%. Now, that's an annual interest, and to pay it off, we may not immediately have to pay it off. We can only pay up to the interest amounts if we choose to. The next step, in order to receive the $25,000, we must register. And then, of course, for the moving on steps, we must pass the AFK. Let's move on to the ACJ. We need proof of AFK passing report. We need to open an account with CIBC. Remember, we said that micro-lending WINDMILL will only forfeit us towards AFK. But after that, we need to take the benefits of CIBC, so we have to open an account. However, nothing to worry. It's a free account for the first 4 years, no minimum balance required. And then we must register for ACJ in order to qualify for step 2. So here it is, proof of AFK, and apply for CIBC line of credit. That's by opening this account. The approval is $35,000. And the next step is to register and pass the ACJ. Now, please avoid the ACS column. This is just because initially, back in the past, ACJ and ACS used to be taken together, but now it has been replaced by NDEC, and CIBC is informed of this change. They will change the ACS to NDEC. So no account fees, no minimum balance, and except this is not a loan. So please remember, this is a line of credit, guys. Line of credit. Okay. Next is the NDEC stage. Say you passed the first, the second, and now the third. We need the proof of ACJ passing report, and then additional $50,000 will be given to us on the same line of credit as we register for NDEC. So step 3, provide proof of AFK and ACJ passing. Forget about ACS for now. The credit will increase by $50,000, which means we already had 35. Now we're going to add 50, correct? That makes us a total of 85,000. Remember, in the first video, the first slide, we mentioned that $85,000 is the exam route. The next step is to pass the equivalency process. This is the NDEC. We finally passed this exam. So, we arrive at the written ASCII stage. At this point, we need to provide the proof of the whole equivalency process by NDEC passing, and then an additional $15,000 will be given to us as we register for written and ASCII. That is the final in the step 4. AFK, ACJ, and in this case, NDEC as we register for ASCII. These are the proofs they require. It will increase it by 15,000. So now 85 plus 15. That puts us at even $100,000. Provide the proof of completion of ASCII in order to fulfill this entire process. Now, why is there a difference between $100,000 that's given to us when we only need $85,000? Well, remember when we began this presentation, I said that we may consider attempts. So God forbid, and you have to go through the second or the third attempt, well, that's where 85 will turn into 100,000. But let's hope we all clear the exam in first route. Moving on, what if we chose the other route, the university and DDS route? Well, CIBC Professional Edge Student Program for Dentistry provides us enough funds to get CIBC's funding towards our graduation. See, it covers tuition, books, supplies, and the living expenses that we put together. Remember, the total was $350,000? Well, that's how much is available to borrow. So how do we get the financing? Well, first of all, let's learn about the perks of financing. We can access your line of credit anytime online with our mobile app. Very simple. CIBC has a great low interest rate, as low as CIBC Prime minus 0.25. Now currently it says 2.95%. This is because the prime is 3.2% in Canada as of now, and then that minus 0.25. So this can change, but as of now it's 3.2, which is prime. Then you could make interest-only payments while you are in school for up to 24 months after graduation. That's a very good perk because we're still earning. And of course, other membership fees such as SPC cards and savings on shopping. How much total can we get? Well, these are the three fields that are basically the professional programs, but we're focusing on dentistry, which is $350,000, and prime minus 0.25. Remember, prime is 3.20% in April 2020. That puts us at around 2.95 as of now. Now, that's a very low interest, right? You're looking at $350,000 borrowed at almost 3%. Very good. Now, eligibility for the fund. This is where it gets tricky. Now, remember, to get into any university, we had to have a PR or citizenship. Well, we must be a Canadian PR or citizen to receive these loans as well, the line of credit as well. Plus, we need to provide them with an enrollment for the DDS program and an appropriate credit score. Now, this point I really want to discuss, because how do you build a credit score? Well, first of all, you need to have a credit card. You need to have a credit card. You need to make purchases and then pay off your credits. This way you can build a credit score. You could do this during your student visa route, your work permit routes, and so on and forth. Now, repayment of the funds. Biggest question, right? We have so much money that's borrowed. How do we repay that fund? Well, what about when you're in school? Nothing to worry. You just need to maintain your line of credit with an interest-only payments, only about 2.95%. This is for the university route. You can also find out how much you need to repay using the online calculator provided in the links below. What about when you're 1 year after graduation or residency? You could convert your line of credit to one of the following borrowing options. See, what if you have $300,000 in owing? Do you want to pay off 100% of that or convert it into a practicing professional line of credit where you can set up your clinic, you can buy your clinical supplies and fund your practice? That is an amazing option in order for you to convert it. Or what about up to 24 months, and that is 2 years after graduation and residency? You could continue making interest-only payments, pay off all or part of the line of credit without any penalty. How nice is that, you guys? Here are the references we've used for the exam route and funding process we went through for the internationally trained dentist program. And for university route funding process, we went through the Professional Students Edge program. I really hope you guys got some new information and an eligibility to get funding in order for us to get through the NDEB process stress-free. See you guys again.